for more of the rebuild. Doesn't that look good? Golly, that looks good. Like, it's exciting. I walk through here every day and every night when I'm going to work. And to walk in and see this, man, it just, what a feeling of completion, even though I'm not done. It helps. It definitely helps with the motivation. It seems like it wasn't that long ago I sat in this same spot talking about, I just got to get started. I just got to get started. And here we are. You know, we're putting it back together. So next up, we've got our caliper mount and our brake dust cover. I got the little grommet put back in here where you go in and adjust the parking brake. This grommet for the little arm for the parking brake, it's stuck in here. Got my trusty Loctite, because y'all know I'm Loctite in these jokers. So, put a little Loctite on here, and then I was just looking at it. It's not going to be super easy to get in here to tighten these nuts up. Probably going to have to do some of it by hand, but I'll put a cheater pipe on there or whatever I need to do to get them good and tight. They ain't going to come off. And once I get them tight, that Loctite will make sure they don't come back loose. So, and they're lock nuts too, so that obviously helps out a nice little bit here. Let's see if we can figure out how to get this guy stuck up on here. And luckily, the way the studs are, it will only go one way, and it's that way. No, I did not clean the dirty nuts off. I really just want to put them on. I mean, yeah, it probably would have been, you know, it would look a little nicer, but as long as it performs at this point, I am pretty happy with it. I'm looking at it right now, and I can tell you that it probably would have been easier for me to put these on and tighten them up. Maybe before I put the axle under here, but, you know, whatever. We deal with those problems as we come to them. I got plenty of wrenches and everything else. We'll get them done. As long as they get on here and get tight, right? Well, they all started up pretty nice, at least. I had a ratchet and socket somewhere. Let me go grab that. Alrighty, got my trusty. Now check this out. I went to buy this at Harbor Freight, right? I was looking for a ratchet. I needed a long 1/2-inch drive ratchet. They only had like a 12-inch, which I had, so I thought, well, maybe I'll get a pull handle and that'll work. When I get to looking, this makes sense, but it doesn't make sense. So this is, you see how this is made right here? It's got this little guy on here where you can switch it back and forth. This is a ratcheting pull handle. So correct me if I'm wrong, wouldn't that just make it a ratchet? And I mean, it switches directions and everything, so I don't know how strong the internal gears are on it. I can tell you that when I was tightening the upper link arms, I leaned down on this thing and I broke a rib right here in my chest, so they're pretty strong. Surprised me, I guarantee you that. That joker hurt. Oh, let me get my socket. I am still hurting to this day from that stupid maneuver. So, look at that. Isn't that swanky? A ratcheting pull handle. Isn't that just a ratchet? Now, I will say, it does stick out a little further off of the bolt than a normal ratchet would, you know, so, you know, take that for what you will. But, you know, I am able to get more torque with it. What I can get it on, let's see. Is it gonna go on that? Not in a way that I'm particularly happy with. Well, I may have to do it with my regular ratchet. Let me go get that. So, let's see here. Let's just take a quick comparison. Yeah, definitely a much shorter Comparo by, I don't know, probably by 1.5 inches, 2 inches. But the problem that you see here is you can only get so much torque with this. So I will either put something on it to use as like a little cheater pipe, or I will use a wrench, or I will kick it with my foot. Golly, I can't get on any of them. I can get on this one. Didn't make it that much easier, but a little bit. So if I have to use a wrench on it, I'll use a wrench on it. Kind of sucks. I would have liked to have used an impact, but I guess, you know, that's just how it goes some days. Yep. So I dare say if I had a standard pull bar, if I could just put the socket right on it, that would probably work. The ratcheting mechanism makes it a little too long, so I mean, it is what it is. I will have to use a wrench. I mean, it'll be all right. I'll get them nice and tight. Okay, well, I will admit, this is a bit unorthodox, and I don't know how much torque I just put on that, but it's going to be enough. I mean, that's a lot. I don't know, that's got to be, I don't know, 16, 18 inches. I mean, that's longer than the pull handle that I was going to use. So, moving along. So, next up, we got all of our parking brake components that go on this right here. Now, the way I took them off, I kind of just wedged them all off when it was all greasy and nasty so I could clean it. I just wedged them all off as one chunk with all the springs and everything still attached. For two reasons. One, so I could, which I did take a picture of before I took it off, but one, so I'd see how it all went together, and two, so I could show you just how nasty and funky the inside of this whole parking brake area was, because it was bad. So we'll go over to the table right quick, and I'll show you what we're working with. All right, so can you see all the crud and just old grease and oil and dirt, and I don't even know what else is all over these old shoes. There's no way they were working. There's no way. Especially not seeing how gummed up the inside of that drum was on the inside of that rotor assembly. It was just terrible. So you see, you got your star wheel adjuster here. You got a mainspring here. This is for the parking brake right here, the lever for that. You got this spring holds them together on top, this little guy on the bottom. So now I have got some brand new parking brake shoes for it, but I got to get this apart and go over and clean all these little springs and clean all this crap up, because y'all know I'm not putting that back in there looking like that. Might work just fine with it like that, but what's the point of putting it back together nasty and dirty when you have it apart and you cannot? So that's what I'm going to do right now. I'm going to go and I guess I'm going to get me a little wire brush or something and clean all this crap up, and then we'll come back and we'll stick this dude together and stick it on our backing plate, looking all brand used, and then be, you know, moving right along getting this rear axle together. Oh, buddy. All right, so now, for lack of a better term, what we've got is a brake shoe installation. Now, I'm not gonna lie, it has been a very long time since I have worked on any kind of back brakes. A very long time. So I'm gonna be a little rusty with how this all goes together. And I probably, ain't no probably. I do not have the right tools for this job. I have not had a pair of brake spring pliers in, years. It's been a long, long time. But they can't be that hard. I mean, I used to do them all the time when I was younger. So, I mean, how hard could it possibly be, right? Like falling off a bicycle. Surely, I mean, I know I've done enough of that. So I do vaguely remember that these springs were right here. This one goes down here at the bottom. So I can kind of get them to kind of start where I want them. All right, so that's pretty much got that. That one goes behind, this one goes in front. Blammo. Pretty sure that's how that was just a little while ago. I think that's how it was. Because then you got the parking brake piece. This guy, the parking brake's going to come in from the back on this side. So it is going to sit in there like this. That when you pull the parking brake, that expands that. And then this guy sits right in here. Now it does look like that big spring is dead in the way right now, so that's kind of interesting. I mean, it looks like how it was. I'm gonna walk over here and look at this other one right quick. Make sure. Yep. Faux show. That is precisely how it is on the other one. So now, that guy has to stick through there. So I think what I need to do right now is get this guy wedged in here. And then both of the shoes, they go up there. Then I can worry about getting the star wheel adjuster and that stuff in the bottom. So now the question is, can I pry this guy in here? And that would be pretty cool if it would just work like that. I am certainly not going to hold my breath, but we're going to give her the old college try. Isn't that how they say that? The old college try? Give it the college try? I'm not 100% sure on that deal. Oh, so close. All right, well, I felt good there for a second. Golly. So there's that. And there's that. All right, well, so that's how that goes together. That wasn't like the end of the world. So now we got to, let's see, the thing about this is I've still got to spread it apart too to get it up there. So I can either, because basically I want to be able to stick it up there and not have to mess with these springs too awful much, to be just 100% honest with you. Is that going to work? Not real sure about that. Because I'm going to have to pull these apart enough. There we go. So now it's stuck through that grommet. So I've got to pull these apart enough to get it to ride in these little areas right here on the back side. So if I can get them in there, I'll get the star wheel adjuster and the other spring in down here. Well, I ain't gonna say I'll put it in there easily, but I mean, I should be able to get it in. You got the retention spring on either side. I'm not worried too much about those either. I don't think that'll be too big of a deal. If it didn't have that one big spring on the back side, that would probably make this deal a lot easier, because then I would just put the retention springs on there and then just run it. But with the way that deal sits, I'm gonna try it this way. I mean, for those of you that do this type of stuff all the time, that are sitting there right now talking about how much of an idiot I am for trying it this way, that's cool. I never claimed to be the smartest dude in the world, but I can guarantee you this, come hell or high water, I will figure it out sooner or later. Will it be the absolute textbook way? Nah, definitely not going to be that, but I will figure it out. Hey, look at that. All right, so officially, that's that. Now, let's see. This guy and this guy. So get this little stud, pushes through from the back. Where's that little hole? There it is. Open this joker up. Thusly. Not too bad so far. Push this. So now, I know there's a lot of ways to do this. I have had success in the past just pushing them on by hand. Will that work this time? Probably not. But I got a pair of pliers right here. So we'll do it just like this. Boom! All right. Now, Get this other one, throw him on there. Like I said, might not be the textbook way to do it, but that don't mean it can't be done that way. All right, so there's that guy. I do like how the end of the spring kind of sits in there. That's kind of nice. Get my trusty pair of pliers. I'm so right hand dominant. I don't know if I can do this with my left hand. I am just so right hand dominant. Damn it. Now, here we go. Boom. I am not at all mad about that. So now we got our star wheel adjuster, which is this guy. And he goes in here. This thing was locked up solid with it all the way closed. So no, that dude has not been operated in quite some time. So I got her where she's running pretty free now. So should be able to reach in there and adjust it without any problems. Now, I think that was sitting on that side like that. Let's see. It actually looks like, yeah, it should go in there like this. I don't even know if it was even in there right. I don't think it was. I don't think it could have been adjusted the way it was sitting. So there's that. One more spring. Trusty channel locks here. Oh man, that was way too easy. Shoo, buddy. I mean, it looks pretty doggone good. Looks like the whole thing's got it. There it goes. There we go. Now we cook it with sizzling. Yeah, everything's sitting nice. Shoo! Just ready to stick a rotor up on there now. That's kind of exciting. Let's just sit it up there and see. Oh, good googly moogly, this is heavy. Oh, golly. I've not been looking forward to doing this. It appears it's been leaking a little bit of oil out of the bearings that are in there. And that got me nice and greasy, oily, whatever, stinking mess. I still got to clean the ends of the axle tubes too. Paint them, or not the axle tubes, the axle shafts rather. Ugh. All right, so I'm gonna throw this away, wipe my hand off. Whew. All right. Wipe this crap off here right quick. All right. God dog, I hate this. I don't know what they're. I don't know what this. I should have weighed this because it is so stinking heavy. All right. Oh. Oh. That's so cool. So now I'm gonna wipe out the inside of this one last time and we'll go get our bearing and put the bearing in there, torque it on, then we'll spin it and get the parking brake adjusted where it's got just a little bit of drag. We gotta adjust that with that star wheel adjuster. Then Then I'll go ahead off camera after we finish that, and off camera I'll throw the other side together, and then I'll go ahead and get our axles prepped and ready to go in, because we'll be getting close at that point. So I'm going to call it a night, and then we'll come back. We'll put the axle in, and we'll put our bearings in. So I leave you with this final thought. Okay, dokie. All right, so now we got to put bearings in. I did not bother to repack the bearings because I never cleaned the oil that was in the bearings out of them. They've been sitting on a shelf over there on a rag ever since I took them out. Oh, that actually went pretty nice. Get that sealed up on there pretty good. So we got this guy. Now it's got this little tang sticks down in here, a little line-up pin, so we can kind of get going with him. Now I did already check, and the torque spec on this is 60 pounds. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to spin this guy up on here by hand as far as I can. And then I got my torque wrench here with my socket on it. So we're going to try to sneak up on it slow like. I'll probably hit it at 45. Then we'll spin it and make sure the bearing seat's real good. And then we'll step up to 55, hit it, and then, you know, so on and so forth, spin it. Right now, I just got to make sure that we're all seated up on here good. We can get it started. Golly. I thought I had it sitting up there pretty good, but maybe not. Make sure I got it. There it goes. Holy moly. It's just so heavy. All right, now. Oh yeah, much better. You see, when I cleaned and painted this, I went ahead and taped off this area right here. Now, they make a, I'm sure they probably make a gasket that goes on this for when you put the axle in. I forgot to, well, I didn't forget to order one. I forgot to look for one of those gaskets. Now, it does have like a little O-ring that sits in here. Those are still on the axles. I put those back on. But we're going to use some gasket in a tube. Little RTV around all these, little Loctite to hold the bolts in, and that should be good to go. Now for those of you wondering where in the world I found a socket this big, I'm glad you asked. I found it on Amazon, of all places. It wasn't even that expensive, if I remember correctly. So now as you tighten this, you want to spin them around a little bit, because it's going to help to let that bearing side just gets easier and easier like that. Helps that bearing to kind of seat into that race. All right, well, there's 45. Ooh, yeah. Look at that. That's what I'm talking about. So let's crank her up to 55. Ooh, buddy. Feels like it should be tighter than that, but I guess not. All right. Go to the next one. We'll finish her off. I guess it really wasn't that tight in the factory because I used a punch or like a chisel and a hammer to just pop it loose and spun it out of there by hand. So I didn't have that socket that day, and I really wanted it off. All right. Now, I ain't gonna lie, I do feel like there should be something. There's gotta be something I'm forgetting right now. I guess not. I mean, it's all in there. It sure seems like it should have something else, though, to keep that guy from backing off. Now, I may find something here in a few minutes and realize I forgot it, but ooh, she spins nice and smooth. So now is also a good time to go ahead and adjust our parking brake. So you see how easy it spins right now. Now there is a little rubber plug in this backing plate right here. So you're going to pull that rubber plug out, which is what I'm trying to reach back there and do right now. Golly. That's gonna be a pain in the butt to put back in after I get it out. That was pretty easy to put in, I know that. I don't know why it's so hard to get back out. Because I'm not looking at it and I'm not using a screwdriver, I guess. Hang on. Ooh, there it went. All right. Of course, I grabbed the shortest stinking screwdriver I own. Should have grabbed a long one. That's what I'm going to need to adjust this star wheel adjuster anyway. All right, here we go. Now let me get a long screwdriver. Now, think about it. Oh man, I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it with that. They make a special tool that you can stick up in there that you adjust it with. I don't have that tool, so I'm going to have to just try to, I don't know, I'm going to have to get a flashlight, because of course right where my lower link arm mount is dead in the way. Didn't think that through well. Doesn't really matter, it's the only place I could have put it, so. I'm going to see if I can get a pick or something and put on it, and see if I can get it adjusted. I'm not going to make you watch while I figure that out, because I really don't know how long that's going to take. So I guess, for now, we'll keep it moving. So, what I'm going to do, so we got our axle nut, it's torqued. I don't feel like going to sort out getting that parking brake adjusted right now. I just want to go ahead and finish to get my axle put in. Off camera, I'll sort that out and get my parking brake adjusted right. I promise I'll do that. I've also still got to tighten those jam nuts. I promise I'll do that too. So for now, our next move is I'm going to put some RTV around this. I've got my axle shaft sitting up there. It's already got the O-ring on it. So basically we're just going to stick that dude in. I've got to have to rock it around, get splines to line up, and sit up on here. So I'm going to go find the bolts right quick, wipe them off, then we'll come back, and I'll be back in just a second. And we'll throw some RTV on here, and get my Loctite in the socket. Alrighty. So, get up here, get our... Now, I don't want to go too crazy with this, because I don't want it to just squish everywhere. I don't use a lot of RTV, not here or at work. So when I did my differential cover, I got a little bit carried away, and boy, the squish out was a lot. I mean, it doesn't hurt anything, it just seals it up that much better, but it was just, I don't know, it doesn't look as pretty as it could, I guess. Which I guess if I really wanted to look pretty, I would have got the stupid gasket that this comes with, and I wouldn't have to put any of this stuff on there. New gasket, new O-ring would have made really good sense. But while I may be in the shed, I am not the sharpest tool in it. So I'm gonna go ahead and just kind of smear this out a little bit here, because I know that cast iron or steel or whatever it is gonna go ahead and make good seal anyway. So maybe I can spread it out. Maybe it won't squish out quite so bad. We gonna find out. Hopefully not. So I'll do the same as I did on the diff cover. I'll put it on and I'll run them up just really loose and let this stuff kind of flash for 10 minutes or so, 10 or 15 minutes, and then we'll come on back in here and run them all down and lock it up real good. Should make seal, and then we'll be ready to go to the other side. Well, no, we gotta put brakes on. It's gonna be fun coming up with some kind of plan to adjust that parking brake, because it will get adjusted, because I am not going to I didn't spend all this time making a parking brake mount inside the cab and rebuilding all that stuff on the inside of that drum there to not set it up. Let me get our axle. Yeah, that's nice and light. You know what? I didn't even really look to see. I'm assuming they're the same length. Maybe they're not. Because I really thought that should have been gauged. Let me see. Yeah, they look to be the same. I just really kind of thought that would have been gauged already. You'll notice I'm getting all of these bolts started before I just go ahead and push the axle up there. That way if I have to kind of move it to get any of the bolt holes to line up, I'm not just smearing stuff everywhere. It's not hurting anything. It'll still make plenty good seal. All right, well, give that a few minutes, then we'll come right back and we'll cinch it up. Whew. All right, well, it's been a while. I came over and I already zipped up our axle, got it all good and tight. So next up is our bracket, brake caliper bracket, for lack of a better term. You see, I already got the brake pads pushed in it. I was just putting some stuff together on the bench. I was killing time waiting on that to kind of harden up some. So I got the bolts for this. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to fit a ratchet on them or not. I hope I will be able to. Put some trusty Loctite on here because brakes are important. Not really something that you want to come loose. So let's see if we can get this guy to sit up on here and play nice. That was easy enough. Run this guy in here and snug him up at least. Or not snug, but get it where it at least sit flush. Maybe guide this other one on a little bit easier. Alright, so there's that. Now these, one of them has a stud and one of them is just a bolt. I don't remember which goes where. I tried to look back at some of my pictures. I can't really tell, so if I have to change them down the road for some reason, if something's supposed to bolt to that stud, I can't think of it right now, so I'm just gonna, in the pictures, I'm pretty sure that I could see the bolt was on top, and the ones that I don't have a lot of really good pictures, so we just gonna run with this for right now, because I don't know, otherwise, so we'll figure that out. We'll all cross that bridge together, so it looks like I'll definitely be able to get an impact on the bottom one. Definitely going to have to either use a wrench or a ratchet on the top. So let me get my impact right quick. Take advantage of that. Oh man, here we go. A little bit loud. Certainly got the job done. Nice to be able to use the impact on something. All right, now. Can we get a ratchet on it? No. So we're going to have to go with the old 2-wrench method like we did before. Oh well. We got Loctite and I'll be able to crank down on it real good. Probably get it tighter than I got it with that impact, to be honest. I mean, anything worth tightening is worth over tightening, right? No. Yes, I'm aware this is kind of stupid to be doing this, but whatever. Yep, that's definitely good and tight. I'll just try the bottom and see how tight it is. Oh yeah. Pretty good with that. So now I'm going to squeeze the pads up. They're against the rotor, but I'm going to pull them off just a little bit. That way they're not giving resistance, so that when I try to adjust my parking brake, the only resistance that I want is from those shoes that are inside that drum. But I want to be able to right here, there it is. I want to be able to go and put my caliper on. Yeah. Oh yeah, that works nice. Whew. All right. So now, what I will do too, because I went ahead and put the rear axle in, I get just a tiny amount of resistance from the differential. There's no oil in there right now, so I don't get the resistance of the oil. So I'm going to put this caliper on and I'm going to get it bolted in place, but I will have to go ahead and, well, I guess I don't have to. My thought that I was getting at is before I put the axle and stuff on the other side, that I would go ahead and adjust the parking brake, but I mean, it really doesn't matter because when I put the other one together, it's going to have the axle in it. So I guess I could adjust it without it. I could have already done that. Hindsight, y'all know how that goes. So nonetheless, I got my bolts right here for my caliper. Now, this caliper I had to replace because these little things right here were kind of ripped. And there is, I do have some kind of some bearing grease inside these holes right here to grease up these bolts, because this does generate some heat and you do not want these guys galling up inside here. My thought process was that I was going to put some on the bolts beforehand. Luckily it pushed a little out the end. So now it is properly looby-doobied. Let's hit this other one. Beep. Yep. And a nice little smattering of it on the bolt here. That way they don't try to gall up in there on me. If you've never had that happen before, it's a real pain in the butt. And these calipers right here, this one cost me, what was it? $165. And it had a $35 core charge, so that would suck if you had to go buy a $165 caliper. And then you couldn't at least get back your core charge. That would suck a lot. All right. I'll wipe the grease off here. Because you know what's coming next. Yes, I will put Loctite on it because, yes, I think brakes are important. And you don't want bolts falling out of brakes. That's just not a good play at all. And I did not get the socket that fits these already. Like a big dum-dum. All right. Let's see how well this works. Yeah, I mean, a 16. That's what they all are, right? Golly. There we go. Let's see if I can get this on this other one. Now the other one is tucked quite snugly. Oh, that actually worked out really nicely. It's tucked really tight. I don't know if y'all remember, underneath my airbag mount on top of my axle. But there is just enough room for me to get a socket on this joker, so I can tighten it up. If I would have brought a longer extension, I wouldn't need this, but a little universal socket, I'll get him snug right up. Doesn't have to be that tight, no way. There we go. There we go. Easy peasy. I'm real happy with that. Well, there we go. Brakes are on it, so got to adjust the parking brake. Oh yeah. Very nice, very nice. I want to keep going though, and the next thing up is going to be to put our wheel adapter on. I don't feel like trying to adjust that brake right now. No, I'm not going to put Loctite on the lug nuts. Probably should though, honestly. Yeah, because they're going to be Actually, I am going to, because they're going to be inside that adapter, and I won't be able to see them. So no, I'm not going to take any chances on them coming loose. So let me grab the adapter right quick. Oh yeah, this is super light. Well, this has got some old paint junk on the inside of it. These have been sitting around the shop for quite a long time. I don't know if y'all remember these guys. Shoo, buddy. I'm gonna go wipe this stupid thing off. Alright, so got this joker all wiped off. Ugh. Now, these things are heavy. Here we go. I said I was going to Loctite these. I probably should. Just to be on the safe side, because I'm not planning to have to take this back off. Thing fits tight. That's all right though. That's certainly a credit to the machine shop that made them. Now, for those of you that are about to lose your shit because I am going to put some Loctite on lug nuts, Loctite releases at about, I think, 220 degrees. So, and I got plenty of impacts that will get this stuff off. But in the event that I were to have an issue with it, I've used this stuff on everything that I've ever built. And if I were to have any type of issue with it, I can use a torch with matte gas in it, and it will heat it up enough to release it. So it's just a little extra insurance that I like to have. And like I said, everything I've built my whole life, I've done this. So now, granted, there is a first time for everything. I always have a problem. Man, we're gonna be ready to put wheels on this thing here real soon. It's exciting. It's been a long time. I've never seen a truck with all 6 wheels on it. I've seen it with the back ones on it. I've seen it with the front ones on it. I've never seen it with all 6 wheels. And I sure haven't seen it sitting at full bump on all 6 wheels. That'll be even more exciting. So, apparently last night while I was so diligently working away getting all this put together, and about the time I was bolting my adapter on, apparently the battery went dead on my phone, and I didn't know it. I was just over here just working away, just talking to this phone that was turned off. I thought I was talking to you guys, but apparently I was not. So just to kind of give you a quick recap of what you missed, I got the adapter all bolted on, torqued in place. I rolled underneath there, and even though it was an extreme pain in the butt and I had to make a tool to do it, I did get the parking brake adjusted. Now, I did go ahead and I caught the other side up to exactly where this one is to this point. Sorry, I missed all that. Your son put together this side. I figured you probably, could figure out what I was going to do on the other side. Now, all that being said, now we are finally ready for, a moment that's just been a really long time in the making. I'm ready to put these back wheels on this thing. The inner wheels, it will be the final time. The outers are apparently what I had intended to go on the front because the valve stems are facing the wrong way. And when I bolted the fronts on, I knew that they were going to have to come back off. So I just kind of stuck whatever wheels were handy on there first. But either way, we're going to get the bolt wheels on this thing, and pretty much for the final time. I mean, we could call it that. So I am just over the moon, more than excited about that. Now, the one thing I'm not excited about is, if I remember correctly, last time I had to put this on, see these wheels, this adapter's got a little collar, chamfer, I don't know what you would want to call it, made onto it that this inner wheel sits on. And when this machinist made these adapters, God bless him, he did a fantastic job. But he could have gave a brother, just a couple thousandths more, because this wheel just barely sits on here. Like, if I remember correctly, I think I might have had to use the lug nuts to draw it up on here all the way, because I couldn't just get it to sit up on there by hand. Hopefully it'll go a little bit better this time, but I'm not gonna hold my breath. So I'm gonna wrestle these guys on here, and I will let you guys watch. And I'm probably gonna have to play some music because I'm probably gonna cuss a little bit because I'm gonna get aggravated. So hang in there, enjoy the music, and enjoy the show. What just happened? Holy cow! No way! Well, that is about as awesome as it possibly could have been. That went way easier than I thought it was going to. What was it old Hannibal used to say? I love it when a plan comes together. A lot of love nuts. So I don't have the torque wrench that I need for this yet because I don't have a torque wrench. These things got a torque to like 250 pounds. I don't have a torque wrench that goes that high in-house. I'm gonna have to go get one at Harbor Freight tomorrow, which I will do. So right now I'm just gonna kind of zip them up with this gun, and we'll torque them up tomorrow. There is no way the other side goes this easily. Oh my god, it looks so good! Ooh, look at that! Man! Oh. Golly, y'all. 4 years. 4 years to see that. I ain't gonna say it's worth it because 4 years is a lot of time, but I'm really proud of it. That's for damn sure. We ain't done yet, but golly. Man. That's something. I don't know that I could be much happier with it, just being real with you. Wow. That is full bump. And if I make a few little small changes on the front, it'll drive right there. Man. That's outstanding. This episode is a wrap.